this is a clip from the very end of the historic CNN Trump-Biden debate, or the first Trump-Biden debate on CNN. We shall see if there's going to be a second. But either way, this is a screen recording, actually, and I'm really glad I took it because the network has since removed the last few minutes of the stream. There wasn't much going on, so it probably was not nefarious at all. But this is CNN we're talking about. And after more than a week's worth of preparation with 16 advisors, all of whom should definitely be fired, go ahead and get your money back on that. And so much media hype, this debate is in the books, and the media did pretend to be shocked at how terrible Bo Jiden was, but I could almost make the argument that he was even a little bit better than I'm used to seeing.
Welcome to the nation's Constitution Center. I had the great privilege of being the guest leader of this outfit for a year. It's an appropriate place to make the speech I'm about to make.
Attacking the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you can believe it, banning books about black experiences. Okay.
Is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
He knows so long as this is denied, our freedom can never be secured.
Maybe not better, but at the least, it should not have surprised anybody. But maybe this was the plan, right? The moderators and the network itself were clearly in the pocket of Bo Jiden, and they probably wanted to be a lot more obnoxious than they were. But there was so much heat on them, they had to convey a tiny semblance of neutrality. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot, and it would cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend some money, you would buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. But there are clearly thousands of videos on YouTube about this, so I don't really want to beat a dead horse, but I guess I'm gonna kind of do that anyway. So here is Jill, and out of all the videos I've seen so far, and I'm sure there's still plenty more coming, but a lot of people are talking about so many different parts of the debate, but I have yet to see anybody highlight this moment specifically.
The first word on what those voters might make of it from our political professionals, from our CNN Flash poll and swing state focus group. We'll be talking to surrogates, including Vice President Harris, getting fact checks from our Daniel Dale, and new reporting from inside both campaigns. With me here, CNN political.
So there she is, right? Dr. Jill, walking Bo Jiden down the steps, which people have talked about. But here at the very end, this is pretty disturbing. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm overreacting.
Commentator Scott Jennings, Kate Bedingfield, David Urban, Van Jones, Alyssa Farr Griffin, and Newsnight anchor Abby Phillip, and David Axelrod, and CNN Chief National Correspondent John King. John, let me start with you. Your thoughts.
Anderson, this...
Yeah, okay, so there you have it. It's kind of hard to tell, but these two goblins walk down the steps to shake hands with the moderators, and of course, Trump is long gone. His wife wasn't there to show him around, and we also heard that Bo Jiden had a cold. So, which is it? I mean, you have a cold, but it's not Rona, so don't worry. It's safe to shake hands with the moderators who clearly weren't even able to help him. And then you also had Nothing Burger, Van Jones, and joyless Orwell Trump wig wearing Reed basically in tears.
That was painful. I love Joe Biden. I work for Joe Biden. He didn't do well at all. He did not do well at all. And he looked... I'll give you the analysis. You kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can. But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base, and he failed to do that.
Throughout much of the debate, with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic. President Biden had one job tonight. He needed to settle Democrats. Democrats, they always talk about Democrats are bedwetters and Democrats are always panicking. Yes, Democrats are always panicking. They're always scared, right? They're always thinking they're going to lose. Like, Democrats are very pessimistic. This is just neurotic. Who they are. They're neurotic. But Joe Biden's job was to reassure them tonight. His job was to calm his party, to make them feel that, yes, I can do this. I have 4 more years in me. I have the ability and the strength to do 4 more years. He did not do that.
Now, that aside, there's also this clip. And for the record, like I said, there are, 90 minutes worth of content to examine, or maybe it's not worth examining at all. In fact, it's really quite bizarre that we're even having this conversation right now. But Bo Jiden somehow figures out how to turn a question about abortion into a speech about illegals.
The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young...
Okay, so yeah, abortion rights are just like civil rights. Is that one point that he's trying to make?
Women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in. They talk about
by an immigrant, not an illegal immigrant, not a newcomer, not an asylum seeker, just a regular old immigrant who committed murder.
About that, but here's the deal: there's a lot of young women are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters, it's just ridiculous.
Okay, so with all that's going on, right? 90 minutes worth of absolute nonsense. Again, it's almost like he wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting him to be, even though the media was completely melting down, as they should. But again, it's nothing new for us. So I think the point he was trying to make in this rambling speech is that there are bad men who are native or newcomers to the country that are taking advantage of their own family members. And so with that in mind, you have to make sure that abortion remains unfettered. And from NBC Washington, they say Biden delivers hoarse debate performance as Trump repeats familiar false claims, as if there was any confusion about where they stood. So, of course, they're going to let you know that, oh, he was hoarse, he was sick, and Trump was lying the entire time. Now, obviously, there's loads of these things. They spent hours retweeting and reblogging every single moment of the debate, but Trump's Black Jobs comment trends on social media. So I guess this is another way for them to paint Orange Man as a racist, and everybody, all the weirdos on Twitter, which I think they are dwindling in numbers, but I guess that was them trying to use one comment from Trump completely out of context to make you believe that, of course, he's a racist. Fact check. The January 6th crowd was not ushered in by the police, even though there's quite literally videos where we can see that.
The police here are willing to work with us and cooperate peacefully, like our First Amendment allows. Gather more Americans under the condition that they will come and gather peacefully to discuss what needs to be done to save our country.
One other or the other. You need a show. You understand? To show us no attacking, no assault, remain calm.
We're not going to assault. We're going to be heard. Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This has to be peaceful. We have the right to peacefully assemble.
But they say, of course, it is false. Biden to Trump. Something snapped in you after losing in 2020, which, sure, I guess that's fair because it doesn't quite seem like everything was on the level at that point in time. Trump falsely claims he offered help. He offered to help end the Capitol riot with soldiers. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but these people, they realize that they have zero credibility left. So if they just say, oh, debunked or baselessly or falsely claims, that just, I guess you're just supposed to take their word for it, even though they've lost any semblance of credibility that they perhaps built up over the last, 3 or 4 decades. Trump says he wants absolutely clean air, despite having rolled back EPA rule on emissions as president. Okay, whatever. I'm no scientist, I'm no doctor, I'm no lawyer, but all this boils down to, as we know by now, is the idea of paying more taxes to appease the sun monster. And here's a good one. Trump heralds repeal of Roe v. Wade as great thing. Former President Donald Trump called the repeal of Roe v. Wade a great thing that everybody wanted, as shown in the video below from Thursday's presidential debate. Yeah. We know that. So it's clear where these people stand, right? And you can love or hate abortion, whatever. It's a very sensitive topic, which I'm not quite sure why that is. But that is the one thing. Well, no, there's several things. But that is a major issue that turns these weirdo lefties absolutely rabid. And it is clear that NBC is on the side of making sure that you're able to bin the babies. And another good one, fact check. Trump says Biden allowing millions of criminals to enter the U.S. There's no evidence of this. Really? No evidence at all? And I guess they're trying to use the idea that the people crossing the border illegally are not criminals. They say Venezuela doesn't share law enforcement information with U.S. authorities, making it hard to verify criminal histories of immigrants coming to the U.S. But there's no evidence that Venezuela is purposefully sending millions of people from mental institutions and prisons to the U.S. Okay, fine. Maybe there's no proof, but we can literally see exactly what they're doing here. And I don't know. I mean, I know what country they came. Well, a lot of them. And I've said several times that the Venezuelans are cleaning the clocks of illegals all over the world. But yes, this is true. You can say there's no evidence, but you can be the most upstanding Venezuelan on the planet. But as soon as you cross the border illegally, you are a criminal. And there is millions of them. Okay, to be fair, I don't know if millions of people are coming from Venezuela, but it has been reported, even in the weirdo left-wing media, that millions of criminal illegals are crossing the border.
NBC News has learned more than 50 migrants with potential ties to an ISIS-affiliated smuggling network are at large in America. Many illegally crossed the border and were released into the U.S. by Border Patrol.
Fact check. Did Trump have the safest border in the history of our country? That verdict is false. Fact check. Trump said there was no terror during his tenure. That is false. So obviously they spend all of their time trying to make sure that they discredit President Trump any way possible. And here we go. Biden has a cold. 2 sources tell NBC. But don't worry, it's not Rona. And that's why we're going to actually shake hands with the moderator long after Trump is gone, because we're friends.
Our CNN Flash Poll and Swing State Focus Group. We'll be talking to surrogates, including Vice President Harris, getting fact checks from our Daniel Dale, and new reporting from inside both campaigns. With me here, CNN political commentator Scott Jennings, Kate Bedingfield, David Urban, Van Jones, Alyssa Farr Griffin, and Newsnight anchor Abby Phillip, and David Axelrod, and CNN chief national correspondent John King.
And it's okay to shake hands if I have a cold, as long as it's not Rona. And look, obviously this goes on and on and on, but another telltale sign that they are in the pocket for Beau Biden. Biden finally references Trump's felony conviction, which of course was brought on by the Democratic, regime, the Democratic machine. And I don't know who's in charge, because it's clearly not Beau Biden, but they're just throwing things at him and then saying, look at how bad you are, even though they're the ones who laid those claims. Biden calls Trump a sucker and a loser. Well, they're not going to fact check that, right? They constantly want to fact check opinions, but this one we're not really going to do. They say 4 years ago, The Atlantic reported that Trump had derided Americans who died in war as suckers and losers, comments that Trump and his allies have vehemently denied. Biden referenced those reported remarks in defending his record over Veterans Affairs, heatedly telling Trump that his late son... Okay, yeah, whatever. And then, you know what? I don't know. Is there going to be any other fact checks? Notoriously, when Beau Biden said that, no American soldiers have died on my watch, which is provably untrue, and you don't have to be an expert to know that. But look, it just keeps going and going and going. And all of this to say, Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe what we tell you to believe.